Hello everyone, my name is Leonardo. I'm the founder of My60, a specialist in exercise for seniors. This video was recorded directly from Brazil and dubbed so you can have access to this valuable content that will truly change your health in the coming years. Please enjoy the video.
3 exercises for those with sarcopenia. The focus is on gaining strength in the arm. Let's go. Obviously, we need to know where to gain strength out and out. So long as the exercise volume and stimulus are adequate, it will develop strength. However, these 3 exercises are designed for someone who lacks strength and might, for example, fall in their daily life. If you hit your face, the first thing that will happen is that you'll put your arm out. Should you lack even minimal supporting strength, you won't hold on and will remain here, yet even for cushioning your fall. Look here, what could possibly happen? You'll hit your face, and we know that leads to various problems. But let's go. So let's start with this exercise. It's an exercise that prevents you from hitting your face. That is, it's an exercise that involves support. Not only that, it also has other functionalities. I'll give you an example. You'll also have help when you support your arm on your leg or the arm of the chair to do this movement here. Adlangkonstånd here. Look, notice this movement here, I did only with my arm. I hardly use my leg. I did this. I'm using my triceps, I'm using my pectoral muscles, I'm using my shoulder. And you'll notice that we're also going to do another exercise for the triceps, which is that muscle famous for being the goodbye wave muscle, okay? So let's begin. First exercise, focus a little on the pectoral muscles, avoid hitting your face, also work the shoulder. In short, I'll do it against the wall, all right? Okay, you can do it anywhere. Basically, you put your hand here on the wall. The further away from the wall, the harder it is. The closer, the easier. So go for the middle ground. If you notice it's too difficult, move a little further forward. Look, basically it's like this, see? Like I did here now. My arm, since I'm a little wide, ended up very close. Ideally, you should keep it a little further away from your shoulders. I'm gonna do it up to here, okay? But here's a tip I'll give you. Be careful with anything like a railing or anything like that. This is a specific piece of equipment for us to support ourselves on. We call it a wall bar. So be careful when using any kind of railing. I don't recommend it because it can give way. It could be a gate, it could move, and you could end up falling. Thus, I suggest you perform it with your hands against the wall. But I'm gonna hold on here, see? Padded chest press. Get closer. When you're very close, you push. Did you understand? Okay, we're gonna do this movement here. The recommendation for those who have never done it is to do 2 sets of 20 repetitions, okay? You'll notice that all the exercises we're gonna do here today will involve pushing and pulling. Pushing and pulling, however, will always engage the shoulder and elbow joints along with the muscles that participate in the movement. Because the shoulder is a complex of joints, it starts from this little bone here in the middle, which is the sternum, with the clavicle, which is this little bone like this, okay? This little bone here that people call the soap dish, people sometimes refer to it that way when it's very visible. So just the junction of these 2 bones here, it's called the sternoclavicular joint. The junction of this little bone with the sternoclavicular joint. So from the scapula to the rib cage, the scapulothoracic joint, there are so many joints involved to sometimes perform a simple movement like this or a simple movement like this. So in fact, it's a very complex exercise, but let's start here in a simpler way, okay? Basically, you hold, you approach, you push. When pushing, avoid keeping your spine like this. Adjust your posture. You approach, you push. You approach, you push. How many times, Leo? 20 movements. How many sets? 2 sets. And the rest between sets, I recommend you rest there for about 1 minute and 30 seconds, but 1 minute is already okay, all right? At this point, there's no point in resting too little. The focus is on the quality of the movement. There's no point in doing it quickly and with poor quality. Let's move on to the next exercise. The next exercise will help you. I'll give you an example here, okay? It will help you, let's suppose, if you pick up a child, your grandchild, and let's suppose you have strength in your lower back, you're gonna bring him slash her. But the next step is to do this if you want to carry him slash her. Or alternatively, you may not be carrying a grandchild by the arms. It could be a bag that you are carrying for placement on top of the table. It could also be an object which you are carrying to place on top of one of the drawers located in the cupboard. So all these movements are very functional, okay? So basically, the second movement is very simple, okay? You can perform this with a neutral grip, although it's also possible to do it using a supinated grip. Only the grip changes. Posture, supinated grip posture, neutral grip. In this case, since you usually carry the bag with your palm facing inwards, that is towards the inside of your body, we call this a neutral grip. Kuau. I recommend that you already use this grip to make it even more functional. You will rarely carry a bag this way. So, look up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Part 3. How many movements, Leo? 20 movements. Suggestion. If you do it with a very light load, and at the end of the 20 movements, you notice that the fatigue is on a scale of 0 to 10, which we call the subjective perception of effort. Who has spotted on a scale of 0 to 10, you say that your fatigue is below 6, that is well below moderate. It's a light effort. In this case, I suggest that you increase the load. If you did it with 1 kilogram, you do it with 2. Oh, Leo, but I'm at home. You'll need a bag of rice, a bag of beans, something along those lines, right? Just try to pay attention so that the weight is equivalent in both hands so you don't end up with one side stronger than the other. Okay. So let's go. You did this movement here. 20 movements. Controlling the descent. No letting go. No letting go, no dropping. Look, you went up. Control the descent. We call this descent the eccentric phase. It's also important to work on. It's like working on the body's braking. Okay? Let's move on to the next exercise, which is also very important, and we'll finish here. But I have a bonus tip for those who stay until the end, okay? At the end of the video. This next exercise is designed to help you successfully execute the movement needed to stand up. So, and here's another bonus tip. When you get up, avoid letting your feet stick out in front of you. Bring your feet back to make it a little easier. If you try to get up here, you won't be able to. Feet back, up. But let's go. Arm on your thigh to make it easier. If you have a chair with armrests, you can also use it for support. Unless it's plastic, if you notice very unstable, it might not be good to put too much force there. It's safer to put it on your leg. You'll find more stability. See? Up. You're gonna work this triceps muscle here, okay? This muscle is extremely important. This muscle here is known as the goodbye muscle. For this exercise, we're going to do it lying down, and I'm going to do it here on this bench to simulate doing it in your bed. Because I understand that if you, on the other side, have any kind of weakness, and I'll give a bonus tip for those with weakness at the end of this video, okay? If you're going to lie on the floor to do this, it might be too challenging to lift, okay? So let's go. Lie down here. Let's say you're lying on your bed there. You sat on the edge of your bed. Lay down and grab one foot. If you, I don't have any weights at home, I'll leave somewhere in this video an option for you to buy some dumbbells. Go ahead. If you don't want to, you can buy them wherever you want. I'm only going to give some Mercado Libre recommendations, and so you might be getting them there. But holding it here, you can use something with weight, a sack of rice, a sack of beans, a sack of pasta, a package of pasta, anything you want. Hold this weight. Don't put it in front of your face. Don't put it in front of your face. Look, separate your hands. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Did you understand? For me, it's too light. What do I need to increase the weight? Conversely, I will be wasting my time with this exercise, taking into account that I want to increase my strength. If you want to gain strength, you need to use a weight that justifies you exerting force, okay? You only gain strength by exerting force. I'm gonna put 5 kilograms here, okay? It will still be light, but it will offer a better load. Just to show you the exercise in a more realistic way, I'm gonna do this series here with you, just so you can take a look. 1. Extend the elbow. 2. Up there. 3. Avoid moving the arm, see? The arm is still. What's moving is the forearm. I'm not doing this here, see? See, the arm is still. The elbow is extended. But I leave the arm not in line with the shoulder. I leave it a little further back so that my elbow is at an angle that when I raise it completely, it's not exactly vertical. Because if it's 100% vertical, what's going to happen? Right now, I'm only working on balance. I'm not forcing my triceps. I have to work against gravity. That's why I'm going to extend my arm further back so that when I straighten it, gravity is forcing the weight down and I have to resist by pushing upwards. And that's why we call this type of exercise resistance training. That's why we call these exercises strength training and resistance training. So as I promised you, 3 exercises. For those with sarcopenia, come here. I'm going to give you the most important information of all. In the previous video, okay, in the 2 previous videos I mentioned that we have a course called Competing Sarcopenia Level 1, which was just launched last Thursday. Regardless of when you're watching this, I want to tell you the following. Don't buy this course if it's not for you. And you're going to find out now if it's for you or not. Who it's for, okay? It's for someone who will say yes to one of these questions I'm going to mention now, okay? What are the issues I'm going to mention now? First, if you've noticed muscle weakness, especially in your legs, because it increases the risk of developing sarcopenia, or increasing the risk of falls during daily activities. So let's go. Second thing, if you've noticed muscle loss regardless of whether you lost muscle gradually throughout your life or you've experienced a more recent health event that unfortunately caused you to lose a significant amount of muscle. And third, if you've noticed a certain change, a certain difficulty when walking, even if it's not difficulty walking, but you look, I'm walking a little slower. I've noticed that. And this may be happening because your balance has reduced, and balance reduces when you lose strength, but you may also be noticing difficulty sitting down and getting up from the toilet, sitting down and getting up from bed, sitting down and getting up from the sofa. So if you've noticed changes in your daily functions, this course is for you. If you've noticed you've been losing muscle mass over time, this course is for you. If you've noticed your strength levels have decreased, this course is for you. Remember, it's exclusively for home training. So if you're buying it intending to do this workout at the gym, you can still do it, but it was designed exclusively for those who will train at home. So this information is very important. There's a QR code appearing on the screen somewhere. If this makes sense to you, buy it. If you've determined that you possess these characteristics, then don't buy it, alright? This is very important. I only want people who really need this course to buy it, because the main goal of this practical course is to have a higher strength level in 30 days. If you don't, talk to me and I'll refund your money. Why? The goal is that in 30 days, you'll already have a higher level of strength than when you started, and your life will consequently begin to change because you're at a higher level of strength, okay? And this has to be just the beginning so that gradually you get better and better. I believe in your transformation. I want to say this. Training changes the destiny of your life, right? Obviously, following God, doing so many other things, that are also important in this life. But in any case, I wish you the best day of your life. God be with you. Ciao.
I'd like to congratulate you now for having watched this content, which will undoubtedly contribute to your well-being, not just for today, but for many years into the future. I highly recommend that you share this content if you found it valuable, as it could consequently enrich the life of someone else. And furthermore, if this resonated with you, please subscribe to this channel to receive more videos just like this one. I truly hope you have the most wonderful day of your life.